And I made it almost to the end of the film without shedding a tear, to the point where I thought, oh, I'm going to get out of this film without shedding a tear. But really, right at the end, when the film brings everything together. Welcome back, anime fans, to my review of Suzume, Makoto Shinkai's latest and his follow-up to films such as Weathering with You and Your Name, a film I've been dying to watch just because I love Makoto Shinkai, but in typical unfortunate fashion, it has taken so long to make its worldwide theatrical debut. Suzume, on her way to school, meets a mysterious young man in search of a door in a nearby abandoned village. Suzume's curiosity gets the best of her, accidentally unleashing a calamity that endangers all of Japan, launching Suzume on an unexpected journey to set things right. A lot of times when we speak of auteur filmmakers, we speak of Christopher Nolan, Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, and this discussion always involves live action directors, but never animated directors. And while there are not many of them, I personally would certainly insert Makoto Shinkai into that conversation. He has this ability of bringing familiar elements such as star-crossed lovers, magical fantasy, into a very real world and immerses into these beautiful stories that feel grounded, relatable, and emotionally powerful. And Suzume is no exception. It deals with a ton of familiar elements, particularly from Makoto Shinkai's filmography, but what distinguishes it, it's not only its structure, but really how it sets this mythology apart from the rest of his films, where this entire film is a coming-of-age mystery road trip film action adventure. That feels like it's very broad. That feels like it tackles a lot of things, but it's a very clearly focused story that centers around this young girl and her eagerness, her devotion really to set things right. And that's why Suzume is a fantastic protagonist. She doesn't really know what she sets herself into, and we don't know either. We find things throughout this film as she discovers pieces to this intriguing puzzle. This is an unraveling mystery that makes it feel like she is in way over her head, which she is. But because she is guiding us into this world, having us discover more about this mythology as she discovers it, it makes us really connect with her emotionally, where she doesn't really have to do this. There's not really a responsibility on her part, but it's her tenacity, her eagerness, where she dedicates herself fully to fixing something that went wrong, that makes her so compelling and makes the dynamic with Sota so compelling. A man we don't really know too much about, but at one point early on in the film gets turned into a chair. I really didn't know how I was going to feel about this because Makoto Shinkai has made me feel for a lot of things before, but I don't know if a chair would work. And he manages to do it. It's like a magic trick where he brings so much humor to this situation, but it's what the chair already was before it was inhabited by this man, before it had a personality, before it could move on its own, and brought a lot of really funny moments to the film. A very unorthodox type of humor in this film that it has, and all of it really works. The relationship that unfolds between this girl and this man in the form of a chair is genuinely beautiful and heartwarming, where the film has so much fun with these wacky situations and it fully acknowledges how wacky it can be sometimes, but never loses sight of its heart. What also really works to flesh out Sota and Suzume's relationship is their literal journey across so much of Japan, where you get this sense of how big this threat is, of how big a calamity has been unleashed, and so her motivations grow stronger. Her goals to stop this that she unleashed become all the more compelling and allows these characters to be very vulnerable with one another in credible ways, where they have met each other across a span of 4 days, and yet They feel like they know each other so well. The fact that they are willing to go so far for one another to stop this threat just makes the bond and how fast, quote unquote, the relationship develops to be believable, and how it connects to everything, to their trauma, to the themes of the film, and to other relationships that they have throughout this film. The way they act, the way they hold back from one another and from other people. Where Suzume lives with her aunt on a remote island, Sota lives apart from the rest of his family and hides this secret of searching for doors to stop calamities from the rest of his friends. And this journey is what makes you understand these characters so well, because of how slowly but surely they open up to one another, and you get this deeper understanding of them as humans. It's really beautiful how Makoto Shinkai handles this in such mature ways, in such grounded ways. It's a beautifully personal journey for these characters, even if at some points they don't realize it themselves. To perhaps state the obvious as well, the animation is sensational. It is absolutely flawless that so many artists brought this movie to life in gorgeous 2D animation. Every frame in this film is like a beautiful work of art that I would hang on my wall anywhere really in my house. On a technical level, there's nothing to point out in this film, from the character designs to the world to the fantastical elements that are brought into the real world, where that's really what I love about Makoto Shinkai films. It's magical realism, how he brings magic, fantastical into our very real world and makes these stories very grounded. Suzume is a very real character. She feels real. Sota, despite being turned into a chair, feels very real. And when it comes to the score and music, especially lately, Makoto Shinkai has really elevated the importance of a score and really a soundtrack in his films. And in Suzume, Rad Wimps come back, teaming up with him, but they not only do the soundtrack, the songs, they actually handle a lot of the score as well. And it is sensational too. It fits right into this world, it fits right into these characters, and it really makes certain sequences in this film introspective alongside other sequences that feel grand. The action set pieces in this movie are absolutely stunning to watch. They leave you in a constant sense of awe, besides how impressed you are by how the film just looks. And in Suzume, there really is a lot more to admire and to emotionally connect to underneath the surface, beyond what we see and hear at first glance, because these characters are just so compelling. Their journey through this story is so compelling, and their connection to this mythology as it gets revealed, as the mystery unravels, as we start to put pieces back together, really unveil a depth in themes, in emotion that I was really not expecting. Sometimes when I go into these films, I expect to cry. I know there's going to be something that's going to get to me. With Suzume, again, I knew so little about the film that I didn't know what to expect, and I made it almost to the end of the film without shedding a tear, to the point where I thought, oh, I'm going to get out of this film without shedding a tear. But really, right at the end, as everything comes full circle in a manner that feels earned and fulfilling, where we saw the growth of this character happening right in front of us, and it really got me on my emotions. There are aspects of the film that feel vague, that don't feel that well explained as they come into the film, and you don't really understand certain side characters' motivations. They're really cute in the way they connect to the mythology, in the way they look, and they're funny as well. Again, this is a really funny movie. There's a particular joke from the transition between second act to the third that really got me hysterically laughing. But there are certain aspects of the mythology and its rules that feel underdeveloped and don't really connect all the dots. You're just left scratching your head about, so what did this character really want before a certain conversation happened? So I just don't think the mythology itself, as intriguing as it is, as fascinating as it is, as beautiful as it looks, is really as strong as the foundations of the film and the characters that bring us into this fantastical world. Apart from that, easily one of the best movies of the year. I'll be shocked if many movies top this one for me. But as I dive into my final thoughts on Suzume, it's time for the fun part where you start the conversation about it in the comments below. Let me know your favorite anime film in general, your favorite Makoto Shinkai film, and your favorite Radwimp song. Anything and everything down there. And if you're enjoying this review, there's many more like it right up here. I review movies, TV, and anime all the time. So if you want to talk more movies, anime, and TV, this is the place to be. Consider clicking that subscribe button and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. Suzume is a beautifully personal coming-of-age story about acceptance. From the breathtaking animation to the wildly intriguing mythology and profound themes, Makoto Shinkai once more cements himself as a master auteur of fantastical event filmmaking, delivering an intimately magical and emotional journey. I'm giving Suzume an A-. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to start the conversation about your favorite Makoto Shinkai film, anime film, and Radwimp song in the comments below. Big shout out to all my channel members for always supporting the channel, and I will be back very soon with more videos. So until the next one, love each other and love the movies.